Most people depositing on yield platforms have no idea where their money is actually coming from. This video is here to fill that gap. And a quick word of advice before we start. Never make an investment until you understand exactly how that platform generates its profit. If you're into stablecoins, you're almost certainly into yield, those passive dividends you get just for holding something like Tether. It's common now to earn interest for simply holding some coins, and we all do it, we all love it, right? But where does it actually come from? Is the model sustainable? And more importantly, is it safe? Today, I'm going inside the business models of the biggest yield platforms on the market. This is the only way to tell a solid long-term platform apart from a ticking time bomb. You see, money isn't just a magic number on a screen, it's a commodity that someone somewhere is paying to use. If you're earning interest, it's because your capital is being put to work in a high-stakes global market. The problem is that most investors don't have a clue how that yield is actually manufactured, because in this industry the distance between a stable return and a total collapse is usually just a lack of transparency. So let's talk about it. Welcome to Crypto Corner, your go-to place for all things crypto. I'm OJ, crypto analyst and investor since 2015, and I've been posting about cryptocurrencies here on this channel since 2016. 10 years of crypto analysis, insights, reviews, tutorials and deep dives, all for free. Today we're talking crypto yield, but before I talk about making money, I have to talk about how people lost it. Just a few years ago, names like Celsius, FTX and Voyager were the titans of the industry. They looked like banks, they talked like banks, and they promised high risk-free returns that made traditional savings accounts look like a joke. But then the market turned. We went into a full-on bear cycle, and this is when we saw what was actually under the hood. These platforms shared three fatal flaws: shady business models where no one knew where the money was going, a total lack of real collateral, and massive over-leverage. They weren't just investing your money, they were gambling with it on a tightrope, and they didn't have a safety net. The collapse of these giants proved one thing: yield doesn't come from thin air. It is either generated by a legitimate economic activity or it's being paid out of the next person's deposit. This is why in 2026, understanding exactly how a platform generates profit is no longer a deep dive for nerds. It is a non-negotiable requirement for your survival in this space. There are several platforms on the market that have been around long enough to have a track record. So let me walk you through a few that I think are worth knowing about before I tell you which one I personally use. Well, there are two major types of platforms. The first one, exchanges like Binance, KuCoin, Whitebit, etc. Most of their profit comes from trading fees and margin lending. They facilitate margin trading through loans backed by crypto collateral. When you see Binance Earn offering a low, steady interest rate on your USD Tether, that money isn't a gift. On the other side of your deposit, there is a trader who is borrowing that capital to trade with 10x or 50x leverage. That trader pays a high interest fee for that leverage, and the exchange simply passes a portion of that fee to you for providing the liquidity they need. And then second, we have the bank-style platforms like Nexo or CoinDepo. Their model is more traditional but highly specialized. They operate on interest rate spread, where they're getting deposits from clients and making further investments using diversified strategies, including providing loans, investing in real-world assets, financial instruments, and so on. The first one usually provides low interest rates, but often provides really nice promotions where they can offer 100, 200, 300% APR for a very short term, usually from 2 to 10 days at most. The second type usually offers a stable interest rate all over the year. It is higher than the regular rates which exchanges offer. Take Nexo for example. Nexo's bread and butter is the instant crypto credit line. If a user has, let's say, $10,000 in Bitcoin but needs cash for a car or something, they don't sell their Bitcoin, which would trigger taxes. Instead, they lock that Bitcoin with Nexo as collateral to borrow cash. Nexo charges them a higher interest rate than what they pay you for that deposit. The difference is the spread, which is their profit. CoinDepo is another strong player, where we see the most stable higher tier rates. While exchanges rely on hype and trading volume, CoinDepo focuses on capital allocation and real-world assets. They act as a bridge, moving capital into vetted financial instruments and institutional credit strategies that offer consistent returns, regardless of whether the market is bull or bear. These platforms offer higher and more stable rates than exchanges because they aren't waiting for traders to gamble, they're actively putting capital to work in the global credit market. Now let's have a quick comparison here. YouHolder is a hybrid. It's an exchange and dedicated yield platform. It is best suited for passive investors who value liquidity and want to avoid complex lockup rules. Their rates go between 5 to 15% APY, and they're on the higher end for stablecoins, of course. The good thing here is that they have high flexibility, no lockup periods on most products, and they have weekly interest payouts, which make it one of the most liquid options on the market. And what is not so good is the centralized custody. While they use Ledger Vault, they lack a public proof of reserves, meaning you're relying entirely on their internal security and Swiss regulation. It's also a smaller platform, less brand recognition than Binance or Nexo, for instance. People who want liquidity and regular payouts, perhaps for the shorter term, are the ones that are the ideal customer here. The next one is Whitebit. This is a full-service exchange type of platform. It's best suited for European traders because it's available in Europe who just need extra liquidity, for margin trading. It pays anywhere between 0.2% and 18.6%. And the good thing here is that it's got ecosystem utility. If you hold their native token, you get significant fee discounts and better yield terms, especially now that they have their own blockchain, Whitechain. What's not so good is the complexity. Their highest rates are often tied up to fixed-term crypto deposits that lock your funds. If the market crashes, you can't sell your position until your term ends. Then Binance Earn, which is tied to Binance, also exchange platform. It's best suited for beginners with small balances or high volume traders looking for pretty much everything in one app. Their rates go between 3 to 8% APY, not too high, and up to 100% on short-term launch pool promos, but these promos are usually very short-term, so they don't really make a huge impact on your earnings, because even if you get 100% APY, this is still a yearly return, but your term that you're going to get this APY is going to be for 2, 3, 5 days or something like that. So you're not getting a whole year to really get this 300%. This is the difference, and people don't really get that. A lot of the times these offers, they will show you very, very high APY, but that is an annual return. And for you to actually make 300% or 100%, you have to have your money locked into that contract for a whole year. But these contracts are only available for a few days. 3 days contract or 5-day contract or a 10-day contract at most. What is great with Binance is the liquidity. They really have unmatched liquidity as the world's largest exchange. What is not so good with Binance is the fact that because of their size and popularity, they are a constant target for different governments and regulators, right? So it could lead to sudden product restrictions or frozen features in certain countries. Also, their base stablecoin rates are very modest. Attractive rates are promo only, and they change fast and for a very short terms. So needless to say, I'm not really using their loans. Now let's look at Nexo. I've been using Nexo since 2020, and it operates sort of like a dedicated crypto bank. I was using it a lot until last year, but their base rates are quite low, so I moved on from Nexo. Despite all this, it is still one of the most popular and long-lasting lenders out there. It is best suited for premium holders with larger portfolios over $5,000, where the loyalty tier system makes more sense. Their rates go between 4 to 14% APY, again, depending on your loyalty tier. And the good thing here is that they have institutional security. They have a long history of solvency and offer a very polished professional interface that feels more like a private bank than a crypto app. Now, what is not great here is that you have high entry barriers. $5,000 is the minimum portfolio requirement. It makes it inaccessible for small-scale investors. Plus, the best rates require you to hold a large amount of their token, which is quite volatile. And this is why I moved on from Nexo. And now, last but definitely not least, is the one that I'm actually using right now, CoinDepo. It operates as a specialized asset manager. It's a crypto deposit and loan platform, much like Nexo. What they do different though, and better I would say, is the way they handle collateral. On any other platform, your crypto assets are idle when they're collateral. They're locked into a contract for the duration of your loan. And you don't earn interest on these assets, they're just staying idle. Only at CoinDepo, all your assets that are collateral for a loan as well remain in compound interest accounts, so you earn interest on these assets, even though they are your collateral. It's the best formula, really. So in that regard, it is best suited for anyone who wants stable returns on all of the assets that they deposit, regardless of savings or collateral. Institutional investors too, but I don't really need to focus on that. The rates they pay are up to 18% APR, and especially on stable coins, they are the highest. And the pro thing here, what they're good for, is a stable business model. The rates don't disappear when the bull market ends. They provide a consistent, non-speculative return. What is not so great here is the centralization risk. Like with all bank-style platforms, you're trusting their manual vetting or credit markets. You aren't in control of any underlying assets. And right now, their stablecoin yield is the highest that I could find. On average, we're looking at 18%, and that's quite competitive. Well, here's an example. Let me show you my dashboard here. Now, as you see here, the portfolio balance that I have here is 4,500. The credit line limit is 2.2 because we're talking about 50% loan to value. And I'm able to withdraw all of this. None of this is locked, right? And I have interest. Let me see where, yeah, it's here. $3,359 is the interest that was paid into this account. And this is over the course of a year. I'm gonna go here in the transactions history just to show you when was the first transaction. Give me a second, let me go to the last page. Okay, so we can see here February the 20th. So we're talking just over a year. From February the 20th, you can also see here it's every day. Every day you get the interest. February 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, and so on. So this is a daily interest paid. Here we have interest paid in XRP because XRP was first deposited, and then we see interest paid in Tether, in USD Tether, because this is a different deposit, different amount. So if you were to deposit Bitcoin or Ethereum, you will be getting the interest paid in that coin. And this is on tier 1, guys. I mean, obviously, if you climb up the tiers, you get even better rates. So this is just a simple example of, and the dashboard is actually quite simplified as well, which I really like. And another thing I want to point out, no minimum deposit requirement, guys. With Nexo, you have a minimum deposit requirement. With many other platforms, you have at least 500, sometimes it's $1,000, that is the minimum. Here, none of that. Now let me show you the one that surprised me the most, because they actually publish a quarterly report. This is genuinely rare in this space. So this is the latest report, Q4 for 2025. And here, the key highlights, I'm just gonna very quickly go through this. We have 217 million in assets under management, over 100,000 active users. The cross investments income is 13.3 million, which is up 22% quarter to quarter, which is good. I mean, it shows growth. The total capital allocated, 208 million, also 22% up quarter on quarter. And the average annual client yield is around 16%, which is also up from 15 APR in Q3. Now, this report is available on their website, so of course you can go through this in more detail and have a look at all the figures here. It's quite a detailed report, and I really like that because it actually gives you a very good idea about their business model, about their earnings, about the growth of the company. This is the kind of transparency that you want from your asset manager. And the last one here is the overall conclusion. So we have active users gone up 70% from the previous quarter. The investment income is up 22% from the previous quarter, and then the net operating income is $500,000, and it's up from $0.12 million in Q3, so more than doubled in the last quarter. So really impressive figures. But more importantly, here you get income from main two sources: on-platform lending, deposits as collateral, and microcredit partnerships, also collateralized. And we're talking real lending activity, not just the printed rewards. On the security side, they use Fireblocks custody. This is the same institutional grade infrastructure that is used by giants like Coinbase and Revolut, meaning your assets are protected by a battle-tested vault and not an experimental startup wallet. On the trust side, they aren't just making promises, they are backing them up with past audits from Hacken and Certic. And they maintain a transparent legal footprint with licenses in El Salvador and Europe. They've been around since 2021, and in Europe they operate under a virtual assets service provider license in Poland. Why does this matter? Because as of 2026, Poland is a key gateway for the EU MiCA markets and crypto assets regulations, which every crypto platform is obliged to comply with. Their latest Q4 report confirms that all loans remain fully collateralized, both on platform and through their microcredit partners. Oh, and one more thing, they have their own token, CoinDepo. If you hold it, you get up to 5% on top of your deposit rate. Given that rates are coming down from February, it is worth looking into it. The link, of course, is in the description. The token is, of course, the engine room of CoinDepo's ecosystem, and while other platform tokens are just speculative fluff, this one is built as a literal yield multiplier. They call it the Token Advantage Program, and it's essentially a tier-based loyalty system that shifts the math in your favor. It's very similar to other utility tokens like BNB is for Binance, for instance. The more tokens you hold, the more rewards you unlock. For tier 1, you need just 4.99 up to 4.99% of your portfolio to be in that token. If you hold over 5%, you move to tier 2. Over 10%, you enter tier 3, and above 15% puts you in tier 4. Your benefits are higher interest rates on deposits, lower interest rates on loans, and extra bonus if you choose to receive interest in that token, which you can convert at any point, so it's a win-win in my view. This token is in the early stages, so it has huge potential in terms of growing, and let's not forget it adds up to 5% additional yield, so definitely not to be ignored. So now that you have a better understanding of how yields are being farmed and the differences between these operators, what do you choose? Well, if I have to summarize this, I would say if you want liquidity, go to YouHolder. If you want the biggest name, go to Binance. But if you want professional yield strategy that behaves like a high yield credit fund, look at Nexo or CoinDepo. We are lucky to have a good choice because just 5 years ago, we were choosing between BlockFi, Celsius and other shaky, unregulated platforms that got wiped out at the first bear market. Now we're choosing between players with track record and longevity. So lucky us! As always, show your support by leaving a like or a comment, ask me anything, and I will respond in the comments, or I might even do a video about it if it's a hot topic. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe. It's free. My content is always free. Check out the links in the description where I drop all the relevant links for this episode, and while you're here, just pick another one and I'm gonna see you there.